Okay, think oh, just give me a minute, okay? Alright, guys, welcome. Another day, another month, another year. No, I'm kidding. How's everybody doing today? So I'm gonna have maybe a couple hours today. Depends whether there's enough people here. No, I'm kidding. I would say an hour and a half. That's my goal today. So I have my sparkling water here. So forgive me if you hear me drink from time to time. All right, so I have, well, of course, Brian Cohen just tweeted an hour ago. It might be a little bit longer than that. Yes, an hour ago he tweeted $1,000 GME gift cards for every player on the Texas Rangers if they win the World Series. Now, I'm not a baseball fan, obviously, but this is cool. The fact that he's actually maybe he's hinting that esport is coming. These type of things gonna be. This is again tinfoil hat, okay. But these type of things could be engaged in Gamestop platform, right? So very exciting. Maybe this is a hint, or he's just wager on the current event here. So that's pretty cool. That's my take on that tweet. So hopefully everybody kind of saw that. I thought it was pretty cool. And of course, we heard about the inflation tweet, so I'm not going to say anything anymore. All right. Hold on. I feel like I have a GIF. I hope I could go back and edit the title of this live stream, but we'll see. All right, so today was a good day. It didn't hit the level that I was kind of aiming for right here, down here. I might have waited too long to add in. I had some yesterday, which was a good day for me. A couple shares though, it's not too bad. But today I was waiting for this drop right here, 12. But it went up a little bit earlier than I thought it would be. Now, if you look at let me see, I was looking at this indicator too, so hold on, let me see. On the 4 hours, obviously this is a very bullish signal, because anytime the red line kind of is about to cross over to the top, if you were to look into that, it's kind of run a little bit here, and so when the green cross down from the red, you could see that it's right there. Okay, hold on one second. I think I need to kind of make this a bit visible like that. So we closed around 1380 today, which was a good day. It went down pre-market down to 1260. If you could buy at that price, congratulations. If not, hey, there's always time to accumulate this particular stock. Now, I was looking at the crypto market, obviously, and it's pretty, kind of stable, obviously. If you look at the Bitcoin, currently it's kind of flat. Perhaps just waiting for the conflict to kind of, I guess the market doesn't know what to do at the moment. But as far as Bitcoin, though, the future is bright for Bitcoin, in my opinion. Again, it's the idea that there is a fixed supply of Bitcoin. That's the appeal of Bitcoin here. Obviously, it's being touted as the asset, a digital asset to be desired for in the future. Now, as far as other coins though, if you look at, oh man, I used to have a different list, but this list was, yeah, it's not a good list. I should make my own list, but I was looking at the immutable IMX. I don't own IMX, so I don't know, but I think it's doing pretty well. Hold on, let me yeah, have it start. I don't know why. Okay, so I was looking at that real quick. I'm kind of killing time right now, so I'm kind of waiting for a few more minutes. So bear with me. Oh, it's down 5%. What's going on there? Let's see. Well, I mean, it's been running pretty substantially. If you look at this right here. Down here back in February. And so it's kind of consolidating here. Perhaps it's just a new developing. It's kind of in a limbo right now. If you look at the yearly, this is the 6 months, so it's kind of sideways, so to speak. For some reason, I thought it was green today. Okay, so, and then of course XRP went up this morning, kind of like a straight line there. Perhaps there's some good news coming in. So. Okay, let me see if anybody want to join in. I'm sure you guys are gonna watch it later, but I'll start in a few minutes here. Okay, so all right, so let me kill some time by going through this real quick. One of the things that I was looking at was the currency, right? Of course, this is kind of indicative of the DXY. That's the dollar index trading. So today I went to 106. One of those things, right? But if you look at the projection for this particular website, it is going to go higher. So when the dollar become more expensive, that means the stock market's going to come down as well, right? So the projection is that the market's going to come down. The trend is down. 10 years, if you look at the prospect of 10 years, it's going to be up from there. So in the third quarter of 2024, you're going to see 10 years going up to 5.3%. That's a projection. Again, it's not going to be a end all be all, not the real let's see, one of those things, right? But if you look at the growth of GDP right here, so we all know that this number might be fabricated, right? Because there's no real GDP there unless they count debt as a GDP, in which case, you know, we all know that national debt is going up and up. There's no end in sight here at all. Right. So again, the more that you have, just look at your household. If you have massive amount of debt, you're not going to ever come out of that, right? Because the interest rate is higher. Just like a credit card. If you have a credit card debt, it's going to stunt your growth because you are borrowing from the future of the country, right? So it's never a good thing when that happens. Inflation rate, obviously, it's kind of ticked up a little bit month to month, year on year is 3.7. It's still high. We want it to be 2. And of course, it's going to be high, 3.7 next quarter and then next quarter as well. And then this is year over year, okay? As far as the interest rate, obviously this is a Fed fund rate, 5.5. The projection is that it's going to go up another 25 basis point. So just another indicator that the pain is coming. Today we saw a bone in every thing, so to speak. Hold on, let me see if I could add the S&P 500 here. Okay, 1 second, okay? Just give me a minute. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, welcome. So I'm looking for the S&P 500 to, yes. So, hold on. It's always tough to look into this right here. All right, so the S&P 500 today went up. Perhaps it's just the rebounds of the oversold condition here. It needs to exceed this level right here in order for it to break through. I was looking at the gap filled up here, right there. But I don't know, maybe it's going to do one of these things right here, head and shoulder, and then go back up. Who knows, right? We don't know if that's going to be the case. I am not a professional chart person here, so please don't take that as a trading advice. Just an amateur here. So what I've noticed is that, you know, whenever it touches down here, it due for a rebound. As far as how far it's going to go up to, I do not know. With the uncertainty, anything could happen here. Now, the other one that could be another possibility is a kind of dead cat bound. Got here, boom, come back, and then just continue that pattern right there. So there's always an scenario like that. But so what we were looking at, or what I was looking at, is it going to exceed this level right here. Maybe just enough to bounce off like that. But yeah, I mean, with the Ukraine and all of the Israel conflict here, I don't know, it seems very scary to say the least, because the conflict is just keep getting more and more, you know. It's hard to think about that, right? But man, all right. So that was my speculation there. What I've been doing is that I've been kind of reflecting on, and I knew this ahead of time already. I got my education. I've told you guys this before. I got my education on trading, or just not caring about the drop or anything like that, based on Bitcoin. You know, owning Bitcoin, owning Ethereum. If you own cryptocurrency, you know what I'm talking about. The volatility is what kind of thrilling, right? But you have to be careful as well. And so I've sold way too early. And, you know, when I accumulate some of the assets that I had before in crypto land, right, I didn't used to have this mentality of holding for the long term, right? And I've learned valuable lessons from that years before, though, you know. That's why I was able to capture the second run of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that stuff. So I feel like I'm well versed in this, right? And the fact that I come across Gamestop at this price, I would never, ever kind of think of this asset as something that is like worthless or anything like that, right? That's what they want you to believe. But if I was looking at Warren Buffett, and this is my title here says Peter Lynch. Okay. So Peter Lynch, of course, he's worked for Fidelity before. He is an institutional investor, and of course, we know who Warren Buffett is, right? Now, these two people, I've been kind of study them and kind of listen to a lot of interviews that they give in terms of picking the right stock, doing the right thing in the stock market. These two people are different, obviously, but I think I see similarity in this, and I think, it's kind of fitting to kind of with GameStop, right? So let's listen in, and this one is just a short here, so I'll be perfect.
Personally, and obviously he has an outstanding record. There's certainly a fair amount of overlap. There's some difference. Peter obviously likes to diversify a lot more than I do. I mean, he owns more stocks than the names of companies I can remember. I mean, but that's Peter. And I've said in investing in the past that there's more than one way to get to heaven, and that there isn't a true religion in this, but there's some very useful religions. And Peter's got one, and I think we've got one that's useful too, and there is a lot of overlap. But I would not do as well if I tried to do it the way Peter does it, and he probably wouldn't do as well if he tried to do it exactly the way I do it. I like him personally. Well,
so from that, I'm thinking, yes, diversification. This is my opinion, okay? And of course, I agree with Warren Buffett here, is that diversification is only for a certain personality, right? Now, even Peter Lynch, when he said, he's more diversified, it means that Warren Buffett is more focused on a couple of companies rather than Peter Lynch probably would own 20 stocks, right? Instead of whatever. But even 20 stock, it's still highly kind of small pool than 500 stock. You see what I mean? So, of course, regular people, they always tell you to be, just buy S&P 500 and call it a done, right? You're going to make money in the long run, right? But for people who want to diversify their portfolio that way, going into the stock market, to me, it's only work if you are already a billionaire already, meaning that you want to preserve your wealth as much as you can, because picking individual stock is a little bit more risky if you are a billionaire, because you already made it. Why would you want to risk that, more to make $100 billion, right? It's like if you have $1 billion, you made it in life already. So that's what I mean by, like, if you want to buy an S&P 500 and you want to just preserve your wealth. Now, people like me and most of us out there, we have not created that wealth yet. So in order to, be wealthy from owning stock, you have to concentrate it in 1, 2, 3. If you don't feel comfortable, do what Peter Lynch is doing, right? Now, don't quote me on this, but I've heard in some of the interview, he does own more than 20 stock or so. But he has his own strategy as well. While Warren Buffett, he's more like focusing on the cigar butt. I don't know if you have heard him discuss that before. And cigar butt, it just means that, the company that is, on its way out, but it still have a few puff in it, right? So oftentimes, when that happens, you could buy the company pennies on the dollar and then you sell the asset. That's where the money is being made. And Warren Buffett done pretty well doing that, right? And so one other thing too that I've noticed when I hear him saying this type of thing is the personality aspect of it, right? Because the way that I invest, you really have to kind of like find your own strategy. And just like in this video in which he was saying that Peter Lynch, if he were to use Peter Lynch methodology in order to invest, he would not have done very well, right? But because even though all of the, principle overlap between his way of investing versus Peter Lynch investing. There's still enough difference there that you have an edge over somebody else who might have a different method of investing. So find your own. Let's say you are into GameStop, right? You're the type that you want to buy and sell, and when the price gonna go lower, because you learn how to read the chart. But you better learn how to read the chart before you feel confident that you could trade in and out and make profit on this, right? If that's the case, if that's your edge, go ahead, trade in and out and do that, right? And find your own edge, right? But for people who wants to invest in this company for a long term, for me, and this is why I have my own kind of develop strategy too. I could tell some of that for you guys, but I'm going to reserve it for myself. Again, I'm not successful quite yet, but from what small success that I have in investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, I feel pretty well versed in how I have become more and more like a long-term investor type of things, right? And that comes over time though, because I've been a day trader before. The stress of having to monitor your position every single minute, hours, and so it's not for me. But I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be a day trader and learn that, right? Learn what not to do. And so the most gain that I've ever gained from any asset, right, is to hold it for a long term, longer than I'm willing to hold it for, even. And of course, like if you listen to Warren Buffett in other interview too, I couldn't find it, but I've learned it before, is that he's famous in saying that buy when's fear, buy whenever people are fearful, and you sell whenever people are enthusiastic about it. Now I'm paraphrasing. It's not exactly how he said it, but it's the same thing that the Rothschild or Rockefeller people were saying. I don't remember. Oh, Baring Rothschild. He was famous in saying buy when's there's blood in the street, even though that blood might be your own blood, something like that, right? It just means that, don't be fearful when you see things like this happening. Like, this is an opportunity if the company is doing well, which is, I'm going to show you what Peter Lynch is saying in here. Now, this is a correspondent dinner or something like that. Not quite sure, but this is a C-SPAN. Peter Lynch was speaking in that dinner. And let's look at him real quick, okay? And I think this is fitting. And I hope it can continue to encourage you guys a little bit, or just give you a little bit of encouragement here. Okay.
And in fact, short sellers, people that really make money in stocks, they don't short Walmart, they don't short Home Depot, they don't short the great companies, Johnson & Johnson. They short stocks down from 80 to 7. They'd like to short it at 16 or 22, but they figured out at 7 that this company is going to go to 0. They just haven't blown taps on this thing yet. It's going to 0. And they're selling it short at 7, they're selling it short at 6, at 5, at 4, at 3, at 2, at 1 1/4. And to sell something short, you need a buyer. Somebody has to buy the damn thing. And you wonder, who's buying this thing? It's these people saying it's 3. How much lower can it go? Now, here's a subject that you probably all talked about. Getting close. All right, we'll drop that one out. It's getting very close, so everybody has to go somewhere. So the important thing is you can't get too attached to a stock. You have to understand there's a company behind it. You can't treat this like your grandchildren. You have to deal with the stock and say, I understand the company. And if it deteriorates, if the fundamentals slip, you have to say goodbye to it. If one rule you want to remember is the stock does not know you own it. This is a breakthrough. So don't get, you have to understand it and say they're doing well, and as long as they keep doing well, my best stocks have been my 5th, 6th, 7th year I own them, not my 5th, 6th, 7th day. So you have to understand that and stay with it. And then I'll switch through to my, my long shots. Avoid long shots. I bought about 30 long shots in my life. I've never broken even on one. The ones that are really bad are what we call whisper stocks. And if Arthur Levitt was here, he'd appreciate these stories. But these are the kinds that somebody calls you up and say, "Hi, Peter. How's Carolyn? How are the kids? And I'd like to talk to you about International Blivet." And what they have in this company is very good earnings. Earnings going to be very. They're going to be big, small. $3, $1 a share. And they keep whispering. They say, "What are you talking about? I don't understand it." And these are now either they're so surrounded by people they're going to run out and buy this stock because it's so exciting, or they think the SEC is listening in. They'll get a shorter term. They'll get 6 months in the camp rather than 2 years in the camp. But whisper stocks don't work. And then I want to conclude with there's always something to worry about. If you own stocks, there's always something to worry about. You can't get away from it. What happens in the 50s, people were worried about the only reason we got out of the Depression was World War II. We got another recession. In the early 50s, they said we're going to go right back into a depression. People worried about a depression in the 50s, and they worried about nuclear war.
So it's kind of fitting, right? We're kind of worried about the same thing, and we're like, this is back into 1994. So time has not changed, and human nature has not changed a bit. Now, let me touch on a little bit on what he said earlier about how, the company that you own stock in does not know that you owned it, right? Just don't think that, you're attached to one stock and one stock only. Now, he also said that if you want to own the stock, which is kind of along the line of what Warren Buffett is kind of saying too, that now Warren Buffett said, like, hey, if you own a stock and you're not willing to own it at least 10 years or more, then you have no business in owning that stock, right? Now with Peter Lynch here, he said it a little bit differently, is that, the maximum or the most gain that he ever gained is from the stock that he owned at least, the 5th year or the 7th year of owning the stock, never the 5th day or 7th day, right? Meaning that long-term aspect of long-term prospect of owning the stock is much better than, the day-to-day price action. And so this is why, you have to be consistent in adding to those high conviction stock. Now, in my opinion, this is my high conviction stock, and I would never stop buying this stock until I get, to the level that I think Gamestop should be. Now, don't ask me how high this stock's gonna go, because nobody knows, right? And the fact that they have better fundamental alone says something, right? Just the fundamental squeeze alone is one of the wonder already. I would say 9th wonder of the world. No, I'm just kidding. But what I'm trying to say is that just the fundamental alone, it's doing better. The company is doing better. Therefore, there's no reason not to want to buy into this stock. It is on a discount right now. If you look at the, let's see, from last earning until now, like what changed? Nothing at all. But if you look at the drop from the high up here to the low down here, it's close to 55%. So if you find an item that you love so much, that it's so valuable to you, in a discount of 50% off, wouldn't you want to buy that? Right? But for some reason, when the stock go down 50%, people become depressed. And this is why I always said, price is always psychological, and this is the lesson of a lifetime. If you bought from up here, of course, I bought from up here, and I'm not worried at all. Right down here, I bought, little at a time, and every step of the way, I'm like, man, I wish I had more money to add more, right? And it's coming. I'm saving up for my, the end of the year Roth, contribution. So, man, just keep it low. Keep it low as long as they can. I hope so. By the time I have that much saving up. Now, I could probably put 3,000 away right now, but I want to make sure I have enough for the end of the year for my expenses and like insurance and all that stuff. So I feel like currently I do have enough already. If it were to run, I'll be okay. I'll be doing fine. And like I said, I have 30 years to cash out of my Roth IRA, so there's no rush there whatsoever. And one of the, let's see. And so, it's kind of comical, the way that this is running too. If you look at the candle, it's just like buying. While over here, when they want to drop it down, the buying candle doesn't react too much right here. So maybe we're not buying as much. But if you look at the volume real quick, right here, 4.5 million shares being traded back and forth today. So if you look at the selling pressure, quote unquote selling pressure from yesterday was 3.4. While buying pressure, it's 4.5. So, it just goes to show you, the ratio is always higher buying than selling. Now the day-to-day, obviously, price action, it's tough to kind of determine. But if you look at the overall, the buying candle straight up right here, but and then you get this type of run right there. So what is that one? This is a week. Okay, in 1 week, 107 million shares being traded that week, right? Versus, well, this week hasn't ended yet, but last week was 13 million shares. So just going nuts right here. Okay, so when was the last earning? Okay, so the last earning was here, and then the earning before that was here. Hold on 1 second. That's when, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, let's see, $13.77. That's like a steal. Now let's look at the level that I'm looking at, and I'm still thinking that if the stock market's coming crashing down because of this conflict that happens, of course, I'm going to go back to Peter Lynch in a minute, but I'm still looking for this level to come down to this level, okay? So not to say that it's going to come down to here at all. This might be the bottom there. However, anything could happen, right? So if you look at the selling pressure keep coming down here based on this indicator, it still have some way to go. And this is a weekly chart. If you look here, right? So the lowest was before the run right there. That's the lowest. So perhaps that's what they're trying to do, is to do one of these shenanigans right here, right? See, that's before the run. If you look at the steep, see this steep thing that happens? So perhaps this is where they want to drop it down too. But if you look at when it first started, it was kind of up here, 52.4 right there. But if you look at the same here, this is starting at 46, okay? If you look at the number there. So this starts at 52 or 3 or so. Come down all the way down here to the red line. And then this one starts lower, right? At 46. And then we still have a way to go yet. So right now, currently we're at 32. And this is an RSI. A combination, perhaps. So 33 right now. And then the lowest for the previous, before the run, was around 20. Okay. So again, we have a lot to go yet, but perhaps they want to do one of these things right here. Right here. They're trying to drop it as low as they can right there. So 33, hold on, 33 right here. Right there. Now they might try to mimic that and then just drop it real quick. Drop it even more, right? So that's why I'm looking at this level right here. Right here. So if they were to do the same thing, obviously it's kind of steep right there. So there might be some fractal there to be on the lookout for. But again, if you're consistent in adding more and more, however low it is, you just don't care. You just buy it until, it becomes more than you bought it for. And that's the definition of making money in this particular market. As far as this company though, the company is doing better. There's nothing, no announcement that tells you, oh, the company is going bankrupt or we're in trouble or anything like that. We are doing well in terms of, the balance sheets and all that stuff. So let's go back to Peter Lynch. Obviously, he was just saying about how there's always stuff to worry about, and that is nuclear war and such. So let's continue listening in.
Back then, the little warheads they had then, they couldn't blow up McLean, West Virginia, or McLean, Virginia, or Charlestown. Now, all these countries that end in STAN, there's 9 of these STAN countries that have come out of Russia. They all have enough warheads to blow the world up, and no one worries about it. When I was a kid, people were building fallout shelters, and we used to have this civil defense drill. Remember this one in high school? You get under your desk. I never thought even then that was a particularly good thing to do. They'd blow whistles, some people in a hat would all get under our desk, But in the 50s, people wouldn't buy stocks, except for the 80s. The 50s was the best decade, the century of the stock market. And people wouldn't buy stocks in the 50s because they're worried about nuclear war and they're worried about depression. Then people, remember when oil went from 4 to 40 and it was going to go to 100 and we're going to have a depression? Remember that one? Well, about 3 years later, the same experts, now higher paid, oil's now at 10, and they said it was going to go to 4 and we're going to have a depression. And then the Japanese, remember how the Japanese were going to own the world? Remember that one? And that we're going to have a depression? And then about 2 years later, we're all worried about Japan collapsing. And this is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. There's a company with a 20% savings rate, incredible workforce, incredible productivity, and people are saying we're going to have a depression because Japan's going to collapse. And they had, on their prayer list, they lowered Mother Teresa and crippled children, and they were praying for Japan at night. It's unbelievable. I mean, the LDC debt. Remember the LDC debt? Remember that one? All these countries, all Chase had lent their net worth to Brazil, Chile, Peru, and all these other countries, and so on, and all the other countries. And LD said they were not going to pay it back, and we're going to have a depression. It always ends, and we're going to have a depression. Or the Great Depression. We're going to have the Great Depression. I never could quite understand that adjective in front of depression, but the Great Depression, or the big one. The big one's coming. But all these countries, and now I understand, these are called then they were called less developed countries. Now, we used to call them underdeveloped countries. Those are all wrong terms. Those are not politically correct. You have to call these emerging countries. You can't use less developed or underdeveloped because that's, in fact, the other day I heard the politically correct term for somebody that's overweight is laterally challenged. That's so there's always something to worry about, and the key organ in your body in the stock market is your stomach. It's not the brain. If you can add 8 and 8 and get reasonably close to 16, that's the only level of math you need to know. You don't know to need the area under the curve. Remember that quadratic equation and an integral calculus and the area under the curve? I mean, whoever kid was under the damn curve. I mean, but you had to study this. You don't need this in the stock market. So all you have to know is you're going to see, it's always going to be scary. There's going to be always something to worry about. And you just have to forget all about it. Cut it all out and own good companies or own turnarounds. Study them and you'll do well. And that's all there is, and I'm ready for questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, yes. And I think that fits GameStop pretty well, right? The last part that he's saying. That, currently we're worrying about all this stuff. Yes, the housing market is going crazy. The rates and all that stuff. Going crazy, and the nuclear war and right? The S&P 500 might drop down to wherever. None of that really matter if you own good company, you own turnaround company, which is GameStop through and through. And I bet you anything, if Peter Lynch is still in the game, he's probably be owning GameStop right now. Like if he's still, investing, and of course he's probably have massive amount of wealth already, and so he doesn't speculate on all of that stuff anymore. Perhaps he doesn't know what GameStop is or what the business model is, or just doesn't understand what gaming is, right? But this is our opportunity. This is why this company is such a, it's such a privilege for me. I truly feel that I'm able to find this company at this time, right? And I'm able to kind of weed through all the BS, other stocks that people are pushing, in your face, saying that, oh, it's the next GameStop, when GameStop is still, it's still the only stock that you should worry about, right? Well, in my opinion, anyway. Now, one of the other things, hold on, let me see. Which one did I? No, I don't think I like that one. $2 billion surge. Of course, XRP popped, as I said before. I wonder if... Hold on, let me play this real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop. Just never stop. Don't
Alright, guys, I'm sorry. I couldn't find, I was looking for the calendar, earning calendar. So today was AMD. Oh yeah, that's what I want to look at here. Okay, so we have AMD earnings. Eden. Oh, sorry. Should show you that right here. Okay, so we have AMD earnings. We've got Caterpillar. Let me see. I want to take a look at a few ones. Okay, let's take a look at Cisco because I know that company. It has something to do. I mean, it has to do with in the restaurant industry, right? That's Cisco, and of course AMD. And what's the other one? Warrior Financial? No. No, there was another one that I... Sorry, you guys. Well, let's just take a look at those two companies real quick. So AMD, so the chip manufacturing industry or company. And then we want to look at Cisco. Do I even know how to spell this thing? It's terrible. Cisco. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's take a look at these two companies and I'll let you guys go. Okay, 1 second here. All right, so with AMD though, you know, it was interesting because NVIDIA and all that stuff is kind of overvalued and all that. We all know that, but I think AMD is better, a little bit better, in my opinion. Don't ask me why though. If you look at the net cost, I mean net loss, $25 million on $100 and something billion company. That's not too bad. And the revenue is like $21 billion revenue. So it might just be an accounting issue or investment issue, right? So that's why let's take a look at it together. It's up 2% today, obviously. Now, at a first glance, obviously, right here, revenue is kind of like minuscule compared to, revenue went up, but earnings is somewhat diminishing if you compare it to last year. Perhaps, of course, it's still a strong buy, well-run company. I remember owning this company at $10. I don't have it anymore, obviously. It was and this is a testament of holding long-term too. See what I mean? Had I held it until now, I would have 10x my money already. But you live and you learn. So now any stocks that I own, it's going to be 10 years or more. All right, so let's take a look at the number real quick. Close insider ownership, it's kind of like a bit concerning there, less than 1%. And then you have institutional ownership over 70%. Is that indicative of overvaluation? I think so. If you look at the forward PE ratio right here, 29, that's too high. Capitalization divided by shareholder, that's not too bad. Better than Gamestop here. Let me see. As far as, hold on one second here. Short interest close to 2%. Nobody's shorting this company. You know why? Because institutional don't own it. Anytime institution own a whole bunch of shares, they don't typically short it, or they don't typically have high short interest, so to speak. If you look at the cash on hand, that's pretty substantial. Net cash, $3.4 billion. That's good. Working capital in the positive. That's good to see. Expenditure, $500 million when you have an operating cash flow of $2.4 billion. If you were to subtract that by the expenditure, you still have $1.8 billion in the plus. Now, I wonder why they miss. Perhaps it's a trailing 12 here. So gross profit went up to 43, but profit margin is kind of rather thin here. Wonder what's going on there. But it's not by much though. Like, it's in the negative, and that's probably explained why they're down $25 million this particular time. So wait a minute. Is it today though that they have earnings? I need to go to the SEC filing. Okay, 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Because this doesn't seem like a good thing. Hold on, I'm trying to look for the recent earning here. What the hell? There we go. Sometimes the SEC website, it's kind of hard to get to, but SEC filing, investor So this is today earnings release. 8K. Filing number. Well, I don't care about filing number. I want to see the documentation, people. Disclosure, report sales security. 8K. There we go. Goodness gracious. Sorry, you guys. All right. So let's take a look at this real quick. It's press release. So I'm gonna make it a little smaller. All right. So revenues right here. Q3. Wow. Kind of close to what GameStop is doing per year, though. Gross profit, okay, 47% increase in profit. Operating net income right here to close to $300 million there. Okay, so year on year up 4%, year on year up 350. Wow. That's a pretty good earnings there, but why is that? Well, I know why. It's a manipulation, right? Okay. So of course, non-GAAP earnings. If you look at it, it's is that billion? It's kind of tough to see there, huh? This is a better one. Hold on. Okay, so let's see. Gross income. Net income right here. September. That's as close as one. Okay, so that website right there. This one is not quite accurate because it hasn't updated yet. Perhaps it takes some time. So because the earning is literally today. Okay, I mean, AMD is a pretty solid company, you know, all through and through. If you look at the year on year, right there, quarter to quarter, 800% up. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And even the adjusted one too, 21% up. Diluted per earnings. No, not that one. Net right here, 20% up. Quarter to quarter, year on year, not so much. 4%, but still good though. So they made this year 4% more. Quarter on quarter is 8% more. Yeah. Now, is it still a bubble due to NVIDIA? Unfortunately, yes. But this company is not going anywhere. AMD is pretty well-run company. Not much debt that I could see here. But yeah, if you want to... Yeah, I wish I knew how to analyze this beforehand. When I owned it then, I would have been, hold on to this company for at least 10 years, like I said. But again, this is where you live and you learn, and then now you learn some more. So... Alright, so let's look, and then I'll let you guys go after this one, Cisco. I just want to see the SEC filing here to see if Let me see. Combination 10K. $8K. No, I don't want that. That's annual though. Is it today? No, this is June. No filing. Huh. Okay, result of operation. Looks like there is an earning here. Right there. Okay, so this is Cisco Corporation. Delaware. What are they doing here? On summer, issue a press release announced its result for operation financial condition. It's the first fiscal year. Okay, thereby. Except for those who are looking forward to the statement with promoting. Okay, so this is an 8K. I don't want to see an 8K. I want to see the earnings, you guys. I'm looking for earnings. 10Q. No. Huh. Well, back in August, they did have an annual. But why did it says it has earnings today? Makes no sense, you guys. Yeah, it's still last quarter, so I might have to wait until this website get updated. So, man, that's a bummer. Alright guys, that's all I have. Thank you so much for joining. Not much fun today, which is all listening to old folks over here talking about the stock market. But I think Peter Lynch is a pretty good person to listen to when it comes to the stock market. If you want to learn a lot about what it means to own a stock, how to own the stock, I think listening to these people that have done it successfully already before is the best way to go, right? And so, yeah. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining. I'm gonna head out. Again, that was a good solid 1.5 hours there. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
From the S&P 500. And if people know this and people recognize it, then they should have a little bit more respect to what the market is and how it fluctuates. You know, I had somebody right now, this clown in the chat, right when we started the show, was like, yo, AMC is going to be beating GameStop on price point. You're just like looking at yourself like, what the hell are you talking about? You're talking about a stock in AMC that has been diluted by billions of shares. Billions. It currently sits at $1 a share versus GameStop that's sitting there at $60, right? So, or 50, I apologize. We'll just ballpark $52, whatever it may be. My point is they're night and day. The leadership's totally different. The company structure is totally different. So no, it's not the same. You need to educate yourself. Instead of making remarks, Tell me what I said that was so hurtful to the chat. What I said was, I meant that the compliment rants comments. I'm not upset that you don't understand. I'm not here to hate. Oh, Model 3, I don't know what's going on in the chat, bro, but I'm going to let you guys figure that out. You guys are going to be great. Insert a Paula Abdul song. Yeah, straight up now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh. Or are we just having fun? Straight up now tell me, do you want to be with me and you together? I don't know. Is it just a hit and run, Model 3 dude? I don't know. Yeah, so straight up now tell me. Is that a song? Rush, hurry, baby, come to me. Rush, I can feel you. I can feel you all through me, Model 3 dude. Is that fine? I got more Paula Abdul songs in my head somewhere up there. That one with the cat, what was that? I forget the one with the cat. She did a 2 steps forward, a 2 steps back. We come together because opposites attract. And that's why you're here. Because you know, it ain't fiction. It's just a natural thing.
I just heard it.
There you guys go. So I can do this all day. I mean, what the hell? I grew up in music. So Model 3 dude is a Karen. Thank you for that. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't judge any woman by the name of Karen, or if you're just giving out that name. Now, just to let you guys know, Final Fantasy, amazing. You know, I love that music. I was going through the chat right now. If you guys don't love it, well, then you guys just don't know how to have a good time. I play Final Fantasy music while I'm around the house, cleaning, playing video games. I just have it in.